or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to our radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debbie, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health issues and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. Simply, I can make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You will enjoy life more, feel better, and be more productive. Did you know that intermittent fasting reduces inflammation? It does, and plus it improves performance. Why fast? The intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and in turn boosts your metabolism. It's unique with high-dense nutrition and nutrients. And it is a program that includes exercises, recipes, and so much more. It's a natural part of all my programs, and they can be done as a standalone. And you're welcome to ask me questions, but wouldn't it be better to set up a consultation at my link tree at https://www.debi, changes, changes, lives, lives.com/linktree, linkree, all in lowercase, and we'll connect. And at the email button, I have where you can purchase my #1 best-selling book, Women Rising. It's a collection of many women's transformational stories, including my own. It will help someone that's struggling. A copy is $20 or a signed copy is $25. Once I get your email and payment, I'll send that book right out to you. Secure your spot for my beach reveal retreat. That is a 6-month weight release journey with mindset and a couple more months of maintenance accountability tied into you writing your transformational story in a chapter of book at the House of Influence Retreat Center in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Use this program as a celebratory reward to drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformation. It is a fun gift of health that you want to take advantage of, and you'll be so grateful you did. And it starts either on March 1st or April 4th when all the spots are filled. And the retreat is actually November 6th through the 13th. You're welcome to look at, watch previous programs at my show on my link tree. And you're also welcome to ask me questions about it and also secure a spot. There's a $100 deposit that is refundable up to the date of the weight release journey. And since my guest is a gardener, I thought I would mention I dabbled into gardening and continue doing it in 2020. And I found a product called Blooming Minerals. It is revitalize your soil with colloidal plant-derived minerals. And I got a bumper crop of cherry tomatoes and tomatoes so rich in color and so tasty and delicious. And I'm not a fan of pesticides, so I use essential oils in my garden. You can read more about this in my blog post called Time to Renew Your Garden Naturally. And you can find that on the blog post button of my link tree. Today, I have Patrice Porter, the gardening grandma, here today as my guest. And she does more than gardening. She actually cultivates bright futures through building strong resilience in families with her gardening. She's a certified educational associate. She also is a parenting support coach, and she's the author of many best-selling books. She does more than just nurturing gardens. She also nurtures hearts with helping people, blending her gardening expertise with a passion and empowering others. She hones her skills first with building a strong relationship with children that nurtures their potential. And she has a unique approach that's creative and flexible for the families that she works with. Regarding her books, she has three of them. One is Bringing Out the Potential of Your Children. Another one is No Problem Parenting, Raising Kiddos with Confidence and Less Fear. And her international best-selling book is The Parenting Owner's Manual, the A to Z of raising happy, healthy family from 34 experts from around the world. So let's welcome Patrice Porter, the gardening grandma, to my show. Patrice, thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me, Debbie. And I love what you're doing here, changing people's lives and how it kind of evolved from your healing journey and that you wanted to share that. And it was kind of funny. I had to kind of lose my health before I really appreciated it. And even the fact that the care my mother had given me so that I grew up healthy when I regained my health again. And it was like, often we just squander our health. And so I'm quite a health conscious person, and living out in the boreal forest here, I like to do a lot of gardening. I've got 6 different types of gardening, and I've become known as the gardening grandma, or the go-to person for gardening. So like, if you don't have someone in your life to show you how to garden and grow your own food, I'll be that person with 40 some years. But
Yeah. Yeah, that is so important that you do that, because people really should be gardening for themselves, because there's so much toxins and pesticides in our foods, and they're not as complete as they used to be because they lack minerals. And that's what the
yeah,
blooming
the
minerals is
nutrients.
all about. So
Yeah, building up that soil and the foundations, and that's kind of what I wanted to focus on today, is building the foundations of our families and changing the lives of our families, and how you can do that by helping them to create a future vision that's bigger than the present, and getting the kids on board with that so they can see what's possible.
exactly. And I guess you start with conscious, not cautious, but conscious parenting that integrates with gardening, right? And you foster responsibility in your children. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, often, like, I think as parents, most of us, we want the best for our kids, but really, how many of us are actually consciously working towards having them growing to their greatest potential, or even ourselves, like having fulfilling and meaningful lives. And I like to support the parents so they can show up as their best self for their kids, be that role model. But
That's wonderful, Patrice. Continue.
you can't show up at your best self if you're not at your best.
True. Very
So
true.
yeah, so how do we get there? How do we get to our best? I know you've got a program that you work with people and helping them to live healthy and holistic lifestyles, and you said mindset. And
Yeah. It all starts with positivity first. They got to be grateful for things going on in their life. And it does add up, doesn't it, Patrice?
yeah, if if you can be grateful for what you have, and like one thing, like when I was working, I said I was an educational associate there, and I was in a position where I was working with young kids, and where I could see that potential and nurture it and watch them blossom. But I found that a real privilege to have those kids under my care, but it was that made me, I had to show up as my best self for them, because it was a very important position. I was working with them in their formative years. And so I kind of built up like a morning routine that your audience might be curious about for how I went about, so I can arrive in front of the kids as my best self and ready for the day.
Yeah, I help my clients with morning routines too. So
Ah,
yeah. So continue. It's really important because when you wake up in the morning, you just want to be as positive as you can, and even if you have things going on in your life, you got to also look at it. Am I in control of this other things going on in my life? And if you're not, then you need to foster your feeling. You got to take care of yourself first, right?
yeah,
Before you
yeah.
can take care of others. And it comes with self-love of yourself, from knowing what's really in your control, and just say, hey, I just need to move forward and be my best self, especially in front of children, because people are like putting out those vibes out there, and if you have a negative vibe, the kids are going to react to it. They're very sensitive. I mean, even animals react to negative vibes. I have a parrot that
Kids,
screams when someone's angry. So, it's just a fact of life.
yeah, the kids pick it up really quickly. So that's why, to me, it was really important. And with this self-love and self-care, and it is not selfish. I was doing this so that I could show up as my best self for those kids. I wanted to make an impact in their lives. And it all started, with the night before. If you're a mom or whatever, getting the kids to bed and getting yourself to bed on time so you get the proper rest, and that it makes a big difference in your day. You're not
Yeah.
waking up grumpy, and I would fix myself like a morning tea. It was a chocolate orange tea that I would fix it the night before, so I'd have it as soon as I could wake up. I could start rehydrating myself,
Mm-hmm.
because it often over the night you need some more rehydration.
Yeah.
And then I would start to get my energies going, start moving.
Yes,
And
moving is very important, and drinking plenty of water in the mornings. So it's great that you share this with your parents, which I'm sure you do, right?
yeah,
Because that
no,
shows that you're a parent support coach,
yes,
and
yeah,
that's wonderful.
and always self-love, and like getting moving, getting your energies moving. Like I would go out, and I don't know if people know what earthing is.
Yes, I do.
You do, yeah. I thought you would, but I don't know if the audience does, with that, making that contact with the earth. Like take your shoes off for a bit, and feel that energy, and really it does. You feel the energy start moving up, and you feel your energy starting to
Mhm.
flow, and I also had like a rebounder that you could bounce, or
Yes.
even if you don't have a rebounder, at the edge of your bed, just start bouncing and getting your energies going, and then I have a meditation studio where it was
Yes.
very important to
Yes.
focus and center yourself, and letting go of any of the negative, and just getting that clarity and peacefulness, and so that you're ready for the day. You're ready to
All that's important, because negative energy just pulls you down, and when you release that stressful, negative feelings, it just makes you more productive and more full of life.
yeah,
And sometimes when you're earthing, especially when there's snow out on the ground,
yeah,
um, I recommend spraying plant derived minerals on the bottom of your feet. And you can actually blend it with an essential oil too, because that's another way of doing earthing. So
okay,
we have something called earth scent that you can do that with. So
wow,
yeah.
wow,
So let's concentrate on, what you do with, because you're talking about your visions for your family, and building self-reliance and responsibility in children. So why don't we concentrate on that right now? Because that's your expertise.
Yeah.
And tell me more about how gardening fosters responsibility.
Okay, I'm gonna lead into this with I would love for the families to build themselves a family vision. We build our business visions, but very often we would not build a family vision. So some of the key components there is when you're building that family vision, and get the kids on board with it.
Yes.
Show them what's possible. Let them see what's possible. But when you're building like a few of the key components is, first start off, what are your key values and priorities? And for me, it was like being honest and trustworthy. The things I want to pass on to my kids, I want them to be honest and trustworthy. And that goes a long way into fostering, into building relationships and
responsibility too, right?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
the other value, I want them to be responsible. If they take on something, I want them to be responsible for that. And that's where the gardening comes in, because it's it's great for developing the responsibility and also for fostering independence.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you can, I would encourage parents like to have like a family garden, but give the kids a section of their own that they can garden in, that they're responsible for. And it's them who's doing all the planning and preparing of their garden and taking care of those living entities. When they start to learn that, how to care for living things. And I kind of joked around once. It's like they're saying like you should get a pet before you have a baby, so you learn how to care for living beings. And
I love living beings too, but starting with plants is a great way to start,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Why not just start with the plants first? So if they don't quite make it, it's not quite as traumatic. But
You're right. And I started my son with gardening too. It's a great. He's really into science. He's into aerospace. He's going to be an aerospace engineer. He plays the clarinet very beautifully too. He does both. But my whole point is that it's a great way to learn about science and learn about what kind of other creatures that come into your garden and what to do about them too, right?
Yeah, well, and to me, it's all about connecting with nature and Mother Nature, tuning in. And like there's lots and lots going on in the gardens, and giving the kids that time to explore in the garden and let their awe and wonder come out. And the important thing, like we were talking earlier in the garden, that our foods, they're lacking nutrition nowadays.
Yes, they are.
And it all starts with the soil and building the soil.
Yes.
And teach that to the kids. Like, you feed your soil, it makes for healthy, because soil, it's the living organisms are in there that are actually doing the and
work.
that'll make for the healthy plants. When you eat the plants, it makes for a healthier you. And I, with the kids, like keeping it fun, I like to have them getting Mother Nature on your team, working with you and her superheroes like sun, seed, and soil. And let them, realize that in the soil, there's all like the worms that are breaking down the decaying matter, and let them witness that
too. Yes. Yeah.
that whole cycle of a plant, and composting, getting the kids composting, the ways to feed your soil, and
exactly.
and again, like that love of nature, when you can have them out in the garden, connecting with nature, and it's a safe environment. Like sometimes parents, they start to be concerned if their kids, they don't want to let them go wandering in the wilderness. Kind of, I used to love doing that, but it seems like often they don't want to let them have that exploration time so much there. But in the garden, it can be done right in your backyard, and the great bonding experience with your kids if you do it with them. And as you would know, you've taught your son, so it's and getting again, like, if the kids have ownership and it's them that's taking care of the plants and watering them, watching for pests and diseases, and them that's bringing in the harvest.
Yes.
And it makes them feel like they're more valued because they're contributing to the family food supply.
Yeah, exactly.
They feel like a more valued member because they're contributing. And even like back to the family visions, if you're setting up your family vision and you want to get the kids on board and let them see, what's possible, but want some of your input. And like, I don't know if did you ever set up like family meetings in your family?
Yes, we did. My son was in scouting, so we did a lot of exploration in nature, hiking, and he is a traveler by heart, and also loves animals and loves doing things in outdoors. So he's very much an outdoors type of kid. But one thing I thought, with creating a vision, you can make it into a game. Have you ever thought about making it into almost like a yellow brick road game where you have like little spots, like when we get to this, location, this got accomplished, check.
Yeah.
And give some give some kind of reward for that, whatever that reward is, and then go to the next spot and go check. I mean, I make board games out of a lot of things in my son. So I was really involved with my son, from birth on, and he is a brainiac now. So when you work with your children and nurture their children with different activities like what you offer too, is they become more well-rounded.
Yeah. And the gardening, the wholesome kids, it's a healthy activity, gets them off the internet. And
exactly. It reduces that screen time, and most likely they won't be involved in video games and things like that. Luckily, my son was never involved in video games. I was so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, because it just, it's really important to do an electronic detox, especially a few hours before you go to bed these days, because we're on screens way too much with computers and everything else. And a lot of people do homeschooling. Hopefully it's with books, but some people do it, via the internet too.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Wonderful, and I love it and everything, but having those breaks and like, even for myself, I work online a lot and everything. I'd work for an hour and a half, and then I take a quick break. I live right in the boreal forest, but just a complete get away from the screen, something completely different. And if it can be something out in nature, go and do a walk around your garden, checking for things, and
it could be like a scavenger hunt, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can just make things fun like that and make it into a game. So that's what I did. So anyways, so it's great that you are, building this responsibility, and also gardening takes some strength that you build up their muscles too, and you're getting their bodies moving too.
Well, there's a whole pile of, it's beneficial physically. You're getting that exercise. You're out in the fresh air and sunshine. You're eating good nutritional foods. And that's one thing with the kids. Like, if you taste fresh garden food, They
Oh,
don't want to go back to the store-bought stuff.
no,
They
and
don't want to.
the store-bought stuff is getting so expensive these days. So yes, it's really
Yeah,
important to have that fresh food. But being exposed to sunlight, they get natural vitamin D, which helps with their mood. So there's a lot of benefits to gardening.
yeah. And even there's a scientific study that says if you work with your hands in the dirt, it increases your, I believe it was dopamine, the happy hormone anyways. And, or it might have been serotonin. I can't remember. But
It's
often,
okay.
yeah, one of those, the happy hormone, just whichever one it was. And but a lot of people will consider their garden their happy spots. You know, they,
Yeah, because they're getting a lot of earthing, like we talked about at the very beginning.
yeah, yeah, connecting with the earth. And another thing, like with the kids, and as they're tending their little patch of earth there, it can lead into more, if you're gardening with them, but broader discussions about, you know, the earth we live in. And often, like, the kids are just bombarded with you know, climate crisis, environmental crisis, and you know, they can get really overwhelmed. And if you can start to build that love of nature in the kids, you know, through gardening's a good way, but having, I encourage, like, parents, any type of family-based nature-based project, you know, go wandering around your neighborhood and seeing what wild edibles there are, or wild, even just finding what wild spaces there are in your neighborhood, and but start to develop that love of nature. And then when they, instead of just, you know, holding up placards or something and, you know, saying, you know, save the whales or whatever, they can let that love they feel direct their actions. So if they see someone, you know, polluting around the waterway, or littering or whatever, they can go pick it up, or want to. I mean, we got, in our community, we developed like a whole eco museum, which is a museum without walls, to preserve our way of life as a forest community, to preserve the historical way of life, because it was a Métis community historically, and to preserve the forest because they wanted to clear cut it. But that's an example of letting that love you feel direct your actions.
Yeah, it's loving you, but it's also loving your environment and helping people in the community. So you're fostering community service and everything else that goes into life that a lot of scouting organizations do.
Yeah, they're the scouts. Yeah, they're great for that. Hey,
Yeah.
and
My son is just an avid hiker. He actually, I don't know if you know about Philmont, but you know, he's also a part of the Order of the Arrow, which is a service organization. They actually, you know, repair trails and things like that. So yeah, those are wonderful organizations that we can involve our kids in. Okay, so well, it really looks like you covered the topics of the questions that I was going to ask you. But one thing I want to ask you further is that you published 3 books. Which was your favorite and why?
well, it was the first book, Bringing Out the Potential of Children. That was a series of books. There was Bringing Out the Potential of Children, writers, authors, and then there was gardeners and cooks and chefs. And I had fallen in love with that medium of books, and I wanted to share, for sharing, like, my expertise and knowledge. And so and I had been working with Dr. Lant, a renowned master in the craft of writing, and we had developed a writing course together. But that made me fall in love with writing, and I wanted to give that to the kids too, so they can experience that, to be able to be better understood and understand, and have a larger vocabulary, and be able to express themselves better. And then with the gardening, as we spoke here, like, there's so many benefits to gardening, and giving them that life skill of being able to grow their own food, so develop healthier food cultures and never have to go hungry if you can know how to garden and grow your own food, you don't have to go hungry.
You know, you don't have to, unless you're in a city that you don't have access to a backyard. That's the only drawback. But they can do you know, background, you know, gardens. So,
yeah,
you know,
there's all you don't have to do it in the backyard. Like you can the
planter
grow
boxes, I
houses.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and then the third book, I actually bought in an executive chef, and we wrote that book together, and that was like cooks and chefs. And you know, and it's all about sharing that knowledge and expertise, and especially, as I said, like I was in working with the young kids, and I could see the potential in them and nurture it and just watch them blossom. And that's why the bringing out the potential of children, it was all about watching our kids blossom and have brighter futures if they're growing to their full potential.
Just like our gardens, watching the, you know, potential of what a garden can do for your life and how it can make it so fulfilling. So
Yes.
not only nutritionally, but emotionally, educational, and they can even get involved with maybe some people are into art, and they can even draw things. And
oh yeah, there's lots of nature crafts and projects you can do in the garden to like row markers or I had, well, actually, I'll pull it here. My garden, I always start when I'm working with the kids in gardening. Oh, the wing fell off, but it was a pipe cleaner. His wing fell off.
that's
Pipe
okay.
cleaner fairy. And
Okay.
like my granddaughter, like I asked the kids, what type of garden would you like to have? And my granddaughter loves the fairy garden. So she had her fairy houses and forest of time. And we made up these little fairies. So she could have like the mama, the papa, the brother, sister, and have all sorts of adventures in the garden there. And it's great for, well, and my grandniece, she wanted to have a Halloween garden.
Why
So
not?
that, you know, brought out some creativity there and put in the what's called the Lumina pumpkins. I call them ghost pumpkins because the white skinned ones
Yes.
look like ghosts in the pumpkin patch. And she said she wanted some sweets, you know, Halloween sweets and whatever. And I had a stevia plant, which is 10 times sweeter than sugar. So I made some.
And a lot better for you.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the sweets and orange and black colored flowers. So you can do lots with your creativity there. Yeah.
I used to make terrariums with different scenes. So
Oh,
you could have a fairy garden one. You could have, well, mine was actually in Nia searching for the golden bough. I had to do it I started doing that when I did it for a convention once, and it's just so much fun to do that.
yeah.
So
And that's something, you know, a compact garden like that for getting the kids with that. It's just a starting place. And the one tip with the kids, if like to try to create so that they're lifelong gardeners, that, you know, let them find out what it is they would like to grow in their garden, that they'd be willing to put the effort in to grow. And, you know, they can try some different foods at the farmer's market. And what is it you like to eat that you might like to grow in your garden? And then start off small so that they don't get overwhelmed. Like start off if it's just one little container and they can make like a salad bowl, you know, container, have all the things they put in the salad. And, you know, stuff there. So, because then you can always expand from there. You know, it's so easy to get carried away. I know I start looking at the seed catalogs and it's like, oh, I'd love to have that, but, you know, you just get overwhelmed.
Well, what offering do you have for my audience that are listening today regarding gardening?
Well, with the gardening and getting gardening with your kids, the gardening with kids playbook that's found at the gardeninggrandma.com site.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you can pick it up right at the front site there. And we touched a little bit on family visions. We never really got deep into that, but if they would like for, I put together like a cheat sheet for the family vision, creating a family vision for how you can make it a compelling and powerful family vision. And just one quick tip on that, make your vision just like a few months out in front, and it makes it much more attainable and with that goal. So what would you like to achieve over the next 3 months? And same with bringing the kids on board with that. You know, some of them don't have that concept for future visioning, but you can say that it's we're going to do some time traveling, and if you've got a shorter time period, it's more relatable to the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they can find that on gardeninggrandma.com/family vision steps.
Yes.
Plural, all as one word. So I want to thank you for being part of my show. And would you like to come back again sometime? We can get more of a deep discussion on this.
Yes, I would love to come back and dive into these a little bit deeper.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things we can just discuss back and forth since I had a child and I did things too.
Yeah.
So I would like you to stick around, okay? Because I don't know if I'm going to have more time. But if I do, I'll bring you back on for a short, sentence, okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now's the time to better your health. Use my Beach Reveal Retreat as a celebratory award. It's okay. To spark your passion and emotion that will drive you to achieve your health and weight transformation. By purchasing this fun gift of health. This program covers all my coaching services for the weight release and mindset coaching, as well as a couple months of accountability and maintenance. Plus, you get guidance in writing your transformational story at the House of Influence Retreat Center in Puerto Vallarta. And it includes the accommodations and food, the fun excursions that you will experience and activities, as well as guidance writing as well as how to market your book and publishing cost. And the whole program is $3,997, and there are payment plans. And you're welcome to ask me questions at my link tree, which is www.debi, D-E-B-I, changes, CHANGESLIVS.com/linktree, LINKTREE. And you will set the appointment button, or you will see, previous episodes at the show button, which is the Beach Reveal Retreat. And what's great about this whole program is that it's going to be a great self-love, self-improvement for yourself. So take advantage of it. You want to make a $100 deposit at my Linktree appointment button, and it is refundable up to the dates of when the actual weight release happens, which is March 1st or April 4th, depending when all the spaces are filled. And the House of Influence Retreat is in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, which is November 6th through the 13th. Again, you can watch the previous shows at the show button from that link tree that I just mentioned. And if you don't want to do this retreat, that's okay. There's other things I have to offer, but the first step is to get to know me. So set up that complimentary consultation regardless, where you get to know me, I get to know you. Whoops. Well, this is the retreat and my coaching, and then we'll go to the retreat center really quickly. I'll show you some pictures of the retreat center. And then you can next go to there you go, where you get to know me, and I'll guide you to your optimal health. What's great about this appointment button, it has a lot of my services and also my programs. And when we go to the next slide, those programs would be the Beach Reveal Retreat, and that button right there that's on that app, on that appointment app, it's only going to be for the deposit. But there's also something called Take Your Body Back that does not include this writing the story in a chapter book or the retreat center. And it's only for 12 weeks. But as you saw from the list there, I do the coaching on Zoom, and there's a private 1 week where I do a private thing because we go over your health, and then everything else is on Zoom. And I help you track your measurements, and I help you with mindset. Also, you can pick one of the smaller packages for YFast if you want some coaching with YFast, which is that intermittent fasting program that I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show. All this information is on my Linktree appointment button, as well as on that same appointment, I have services, and I have 2 services. I have a ZytoLink scans to one is a cradle and one is the actual link, and I prefer the ZytoLink because I can actually send a link to your phone from this app, and it will scan your face for 30 seconds, looking at the blood flow of your face in the areas of functional, energetic, and emotional in different body systems and lifestyles. And it will generate a report of biomarkers out of range and products and services to bring it back into range. The Zytoscan does cost $50. So if you move forward with my services, you will get a discount on my programs and services, which is $25. And yeah, if you do the beach reveal treat, you'll get $25 off if you buy a Zytoscan. But you also get a package of 5 Vitoscans for the price of 4, and you can get an additional discount. And remember, I have an email button where you can purchase my #1 Amazon best-selling book, Women Rising, which is the collection of many women's transformation stories, including my own. And all of them help you look to see that someone's successful with their certain story. So it's going to help somebody that is struggling. You can get a copy of the book for $20, a signed copy for $25. And once I get the email and your payment, I'll send that off to you. And I'm currently offering something that's complimentary, which is my Debi's coaching chats. It's on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. for 30 minutes, and that's Pacific time. It's an intimate group where a survey is going to pick the most popular topics: how to make your body more efficient, how to release stress, how hormones can affect your body, efficiently releasing stress, having a winning mindset, how mindset optimizes your health and weight release and boosts your mood, okay? And how to create a new version of yourself in an avatar board that will drive you with emotion and passion to achieve any health or weight transformation. You need to register at this link, which is https://bit.ly/bit.ly/Debi with a capital D, EBI -coaching with a capital C, all spelled out, and then C for a capital C for chats, all spelled out as one word. And finally, subscribe to my newsletter where you, thank you, Misty, where you can learn more about my alternative health and upcoming shows and events and things I offer as promos at this bit.ly link, which is https://bit.ly/radio TV show, all in lowercase as one word. And I'll give you a gift for a 30-day health and mindset journal that where you can track your mindset, gratitude, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as well as the foods that you eat, the water you drink, the exercise you've done, and track your measurements. You want to review this on a weekly, daily, or a monthly basis. So see your wins and celebrate them, and see the gaps and work on them. If you need help bridging the gap, then you contact me for more coaching if you're not a current client of mine. It's a great health and wellness tool. I'm sure you found this show educational, informative, and enjoyed it. And you're welcome to ask me questions or Patrice. And we're running a little bit on time. So I'm going to close out the show. But anyways, I want you to continue my radio and TV, continue watching my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, where it's on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.